Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. For this week in Figure Friday, I thought I'd go over all of my pre-orders for 2021. I know I'm pretty late on this one, we're already in the second quarter, but I've seen a lot of figure collector channels kind of do this and show off all of their pre-orders. So I thought it'd be pretty cool to do that myself, and I have my list here on my laptop. So what I'll do is I'll kind of go through each quarter, and starting off the list for each quarter, I'll kind of go through my smaller figures, so things like Nendoroid or Funko Pops, and we're kind of after that we'll move into the scale figure, so something that's a little bit more nicer, more higher quality. And then for the last category, we're gonna go over my more premium figures, those being the licensed and non-licensed statues. And one of the channels that got me into those was, of course, Bam Collectibles. I'm pretty sure you've probably already heard of him, but he was a huge inspiration into me starting to collect these type of figures. They just look so awesome in his background, so I'm hoping one day I'll have something like that in my background to show off. So yeah, if you are watching this, Bam, thanks for getting me into the hobby. And with that, let's just go ahead and get started with quarter two. Quarter one already finished, so I'm not gonna go over those. So let's go straight into quarter two. And starting with Nendoroids, there are 4 Nendoroids that are supposed to arrive in quarter two of 2021. However, I have found out that with these pre-orders, they could really arrive a month after their release date, which really sucks because I'm pretty used to with mangas and Blu-rays. Usually the release dates that's listed on the website, you'll get it either on that same day or a few days after or before. But with figures, man, the struggle is real with figures. You really have to wait. But anyways, going back into this list, we have 4 Nendoroids. So I'll just kind of go down the list here. And the first Nendoroid on here is Dabi from My Hero Academia. You guys saw that I recently did an unboxing for Himiko, which is right here, and she really was she probably is my favorite Nendoroid that I have so far. I just really love the look on her, and I feel like they really did capture her character really well with this Nendoroid, so I'm really happy about this one. And what I think I'm going to be doing is, for My Hero Academia, I really enjoy the villains, so I'm probably going to try and collect as many of the villains as I can. I've seen a few of the hero Nendoroids, and I don't know why, but they just didn't catch my attention very much. But the ones that I have seen for the villains honestly look really nice, so I'm gonna try to pick up all of them. I know that Shigaraki, he's already sold out, or like he's no longer available, but hopefully they do a rerun, because I've seen that they've been doing a lot of these reruns recently, and I have a few of those in the list that will probably pop up later. But I'm really hoping they do one for him, because he honestly looks really nice and he would really pair up nicely with Himiko. But going back into Dabi, I also think he looks pretty cool. I guess on the screen I'll kind of make sure to show some figures of him so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm really glad that I pre-ordered him, and I can't wait to get him in and put him next to my Himiko. So yeah, that's the first Nendoroid. Let's move on to the next one. And the next one's actually gonna be JoJo's Nendoroid. And I just recently finished watching Golden Wind, which is the latest part of JoJo's. And yes, for me, the last 2 parts have been my favorites, part 4 and part 5. But as far as the JoJo's go, I've actually enjoyed all of them. So my plan with the JoJo's Nendoroids is just to pick up all of the JoJo's if I can. And as far as the villains, the only ones that I really need are Dio and Kira. I've seen a few Dios, but I haven't seen Kira, so hopefully they make one of those. And he's actually my favorite, so it'd be awesome if they made a Nendoroid of him. But the JoJo's that I do have on pre-order for quarter 2 is Joseph Joestar, and it is in his younger version. And with him, I think I'm fine with the younger version. That was actually my favorite version of him. So if they ever do make an older version of him, I probably won't pick it up. But yeah, I just prefer him this way. I think he was a little bit more funnier, more charismatic, and a lot of these poses that he's in definitely shows that. So I can't wait to get him and just kind of display him in all of these different awesome poses. But yeah, he's gonna be my second Nendoroid to arrive in quarter 2. Moving into my third one, we're going into the Naruto series, and this is going to be actually one of the first reruns, although I'm not sure if Joseph Joestar was also a rerun. He might have been, but this one definitely is, because I've already seen a lot of people have him, and I really wanted him, and I was almost considering purchasing him in the aftermarket, which if you guys know anything about Nendoroids, they're already expensive, but once they go out of print, their price just skyrockets. And I almost picked up Itachi, but I decided to wait, and thankfully I did, because I found out they sometimes do these reruns, and Itachi ended up being one of them. So he's one of my favorite characters in Naruto, so of course I had to pick him up, and hopefully I can end up picking up more of the Akatsuki members. It would be awesome if I could just have the whole line of Akatsuki members in their Nendoroid forms, but for now I have Itachi on pre-order. The next one is going to be from the quintessential quintuplets. You guys know I've been talking about the quintessential quintuplets a lot lately on my channel and on Instagram, so it's no secret that I love it, and I am planning to pick up all of the Nendoroids for the quintessential quintuplets. I already have Miku, which I showed off. I didn't do her own separate proper unboxing, unfortunately. It's kind of combined with one of my manga or Blu-ray hauls, but I will put a link up here so you guys can check it out if you guys are interested. But I have Miku, and the next one that's going to be arriving is Ichika. So she's set to arrive in June, so next month, but again, it'll probably take a month after that. So I probably won't end up getting her until the third quarter, to be honest. But yeah, I do have her on pre-order, and that is my last Nendoroid. So now let's move on to the scale figures. And for the scale figures, we actually have a bit more of the quintessential quintuplets, starting with the cheaper one. Let's start with the cheaper one, which is a Pop-Up Parade. If you guys don't know, Pop-Up Parade is a line for figures that are a little bit more affordable, and I did actually pick one up recently, which was the Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, and I thought the quality was actually pretty good. But to be honest, another reason why I wanted to get this Pop-Up Parade is because I actually kind of like this pose a little bit more than the pose that we get with the Kotobukiya figure. She just looks a little bit more like she does in the anime, so I definitely wanted to pick that one up. And then also in the second quarter, I will be getting 2 more of the Kotobukiya figures from the quintessential quintuplet. So I'll be getting Yotsuba Nakano, which actually that one should have arrived in the first quarter, but as you guys can see, it's taken a little long, and we're already in May and she still hasn't arrived. So who knows when I'm gonna get these, but I did pre-order these off of Rightstuf, so I don't know if that's why. I don't know if they have to wait before they ship from Japan to Rightstuf and then from Rightstuf to me. Going forward, I am pre-ordering from AmiAmi because I've noticed that they also have sooner release schedules, and they will just ship directly from Japan to my house, so I don't have to wait for them to ship to Rightstuf first. So yeah, moving forward, I'm gonna figures, definitely it's better to order from AmiAmi. With Rightstuf, I'll just stick to purchasing Blu-rays and manga, which they're perfect for that. So yeah, but yeah, that's going to wrap up the second quarter of 2021. And I feel like this video is already going on pretty long, so I don't know how long this video is going to be. But let's move on into the third quarter. Alright, now going into the third quarter, just looking at this list here, we got some pretty good stuff. So we have 2 Nendoroids, we have 3 Nendoroids, 2 scale figures, and then we have a whopping 6 of the premium statues that will finally be arriving in the third quarter. So I can't wait to show you guys those, but let's go ahead and start off with the Nendoroids again. And again, just going down the list here, the first Nendoroid that I have on pre-order for the third quarter of 2021 is Rengoku from Demon Slayer. And if you guys haven't seen the film yet, I really suggest watching it, and just watch the series if you haven't seen it. Watch the series first, then move into the movie, because that's definitely the way that you want to watch it. But Rengoku in the movie was awesome. I pre-ordered this before I even watched the movie, so I didn't know how much I was gonna love him. But after watching the film, he's definitely climbed up the ladder and became just one of my favorite Demon Slayer characters, as I'm sure he probably did for a lot of people who watched the film. And yeah, I'm really happy that I pre-ordered him. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the first Rengoku figure that I'm going to be getting. But for now, that is the only figure that I have for him. And the Nendoroid actually looks pretty cool. I really like how his hair looks. His eyes look amazing. They look just like they did in the anime. So again, just good smell, just always knocks it out of the park. They always capture their characters really well. Right now I'm looking at the pose where he's using his sword and there's a fire effect. And that fire effect, I mean, it looks just like it did in the anime. It doesn't really look like fire, but it still looks pretty cool the way that they have him swinging the sword with the fire effect. So yeah, that's going to be an awesome Nendoroid. And then the next two Nendoroids that I will be getting for the third quarter are again quintessential quintuplets figures. So I will be getting two more sisters, and they are going to be Itsuki and Yotsuba. And I think after that, there's just one sister left, which I actually just recently pre-ordered her too, so I don't know when she's coming out because I don't have her on this list, but I'll go ahead and add her here too, just to get all of the quintessential quintuplet Nendoroids out of the way. But I am also getting Nino. She was just announced this past week, and she actually looks pretty cute. I really do like the way Nino looks. She might be actually one of my favorite Nendoroids. As far as Nendoroids goes, she's probably one of my favorite ones. But yeah, I'm sure they're all gonna look nice once I have all of them. I'm definitely gonna be displaying them in front of the manga. I'm thinking that I'm probably gonna try and display them next to their Kotobukiya figure as well. So I'll have the Kotobukiya figure and then the Nendoroid kind of sitting next to it. I think it'll look fine, but I guess we'll see. If it starts to look too crowded, then I'll probably just find a different place to display probably the Nendoroids, because I actually like the way that the Kotobukiya figure looks in front of the manga. Even though it does hide a lot of it, it looks pretty nice. I'm looking at it right now on the other side. So yeah, all the quintessential quintuplets Nendoroids, I do have them all on pre-order, and I'm glad that I'm not missing out on any of them, and we don't have to wait for a rerun or anything like that. So really happy about that. I am going to complete that in 2021. So now let's move into the scale figures. And sorry, I think I did mention that there was two scale figures for the third quarter, but there's actually only one. And it's just going to be another of the Kotobukiya figures for the quintessential quintuplets. So in the third quarter, I will be getting Nino Nakano as well. Which for that Kotobukiya figure, I actually really like the pose that Nino has on that figure. It's actually, again, my favorite pose from the sisters. So man, now I'm starting to think if Miku really is my favorite, because I think I enjoy Nino's figures a lot more than the Miku figures. But as far as in the anime and the manga, I do prefer Miku. So yeah, that does it for my Nendoroids and scale figures. Now let's get into the more interesting figures, which I have yet to unbox one in the channel, so I can't wait to get one in and unbox it for you guys. But let's go through these 6 that are supposedly gonna arrive in quarter 3. We'll see if that's true. But the first one on the list is from a series that's near and dear to my heart. It was one of the first animes that I watched, and it still remains at the top of my list of my top 10 favorite anime, and that is an Attack on Titan figure. And this is from a studio called LC Studios, and in the figure community, or in the statue community, I'd say, the LC Studios line seems to be getting a lot of respect for their Attack on Titan figures. However, they recently announced their Eren, and Eren, let's just say that he didn't get the best response as far as what people thought about that figure. And even from me, I was planning to pick up the whole line of all of the figures from LC Studios, but after seeing that figure, I think I might actually skip on Eren, and for now I just have Mikasa and Levi on pre-order. So Levi was supposed to be one that was already supposed to be shipped. I already paid the shipping cost for it. However, I guess they're having some production issues and it's taking a little bit longer for Levi to arrive, but he wasn't on my pre-order list because he was actually supposedly already shipped. But I do have him on pre-order, as well as Mikasa, which is set to be shipped on quarter 3. Again, we'll see if that's true once she comes out. But yeah, both of those figures look amazing. BAM Collectibles actually already did an unboxing of his Levi. I guess because he's more known in the figure community, he was able to get one a little bit more sooner, and it looks amazing. I'm really glad that I picked up Levi. I'll try and link his video so you guys can check that out if you guys are interested. I will also leave a link down below to all of the figures that I am pre-ordering in case you guys are curious. But But yeah, for those two figures, I actually got the advanced version because a lot of these statues, they usually come with different versions, and so in case you wanted to save a little bit of money and you just like the way the figure looks, you could just get the standard version, which doesn't have any of the titans or any of the smoke effects. But for me, I wanted to go all in. I think they looked awesome with the titan and the smoke effects, so I went with the advanced version. And I think it was well worth it, especially after seeing Bam's unboxing, so can't wait to get those in and share them with you guys. But the next statue that I have on pre-order is a Demon Slayer statue, which is the second series that I'm kind of going into as far as statue collecting, because recently there's just been like a bunch of Demon Slayer statues, and I have a bunch of them on pre-order. So the first one here is from TPA Studios, which is the Kanjori Mitsuri. And Mitsuri, she's actually one of my favorite characters from Demon Slayer. Even though we haven't seen too much of her in the anime, as soon as I saw her, I really loved her character design. I think she looks like one of the most unique looking characters. I just love the color, the green and pink braids that she has, and of course she is beautiful. So yeah, she's one of my favorites, and I actually have a few of her figures on pre-order. But this first one from TPA Studios, I actually got her because before TPA Studios there was Magic Cube, who released a figure that I really loved. Unfortunately, by the time I got into collecting figures, the price for her had already gone up, so I didn't want to pay that price when I knew that you could get her cheaper. And this TPA version was about half the price of the Magic Cube version, and it also looks pretty cool. And the reason that I wanted to get either the TPA Studios or the Magic Cube Studios version is because they both have sort of like a wood dragon. I don't know what it is, to be honest. It looks like a wood dragon to me, and it kind of reminds me of the first Hokage from Naruto. So yeah, that's my first Demon Slayer statue. And the next one is the main character for the series, Tanjiro. There are a bunch of Tanjiro statues I've noticed, but this one kind of stood out to me because it captures one of the main moments in the season 1 of the anime. And you have him using his fire style dragon to cut the head off of one of the lower demons from Demon Slayer. If you guys have seen season 1, you guys know who I'm talking about, but it was basically the best scene of season 1 that everybody was talking about. And another reason that I really loved it is because it has LEDs, which Mitsuri also has LEDs, but not quite to the same extent as this one. As far as I can tell from the image, the whole dragon should light up, and they do have 2 scales available. They have the 1/8 scale and the 1/6 scale, but so far the ones that I've pre-ordered have mostly been 1/6 scale, so that's what I'm going to be sticking with as far as these statues go. And yeah, as you guys can see from the image, looks awesome. Can't wait to get him in. Let's move on to the next one, which are actually 2 they are still resin statues as far as I can tell, but they are smaller versions, and they call this one the WCF scale, which I'm not too sure what it means. If I can figure it out, I'll put up some text to tell you guys what it means, but they're kind of just chibified versions of these characters, and in this case it's for Naruto. So I picked up Itachi and Madara Uchiha, and the cool thing about these is that they're small. They're about Nendoroid size, but they pack in so much stuff with them. So they come with the characters, and then they have their Susanoo behind them, and then on top of that they also have LEDs. So I think they're gonna look pretty cool, pretty cute, and those will probably be displayed on my manga shelf rather than on the figure shelf, which I do plan on getting in the future. So it'll be a shelf just filled with figures, and I'll probably make a video out of it because I plan to make sort of the same shelf that Bam has in his collection. So I think that'll be a fun thing to do. And yeah, moving on to the last statue that I will be getting in the 3rd quarter. And this is probably the statue that I've paid the most money for. And this next figure is the 1/6 scale KiJugo versus Ulquiorra statue from Figurama. And Figurama does release licensed figures, which is why this one comes with a little bit of a higher price tag. But for me, it was well worth it because KiJugo versus Ulquiorra was where Bleach kind of peaked for me. That was the best fight in my opinion in all of Bleach, and I had to have this figure. As soon as I saw it, I knew I had to have it. Unfortunately, when I first ran into it, they were all sold out on the Figurama site, but thankfully a secondary seller, or I think they're a reseller company called Spec Fiction, had some in stock, and I was able to sign up and kind of go in through a payment plan to pay this one off, which definitely helps out a lot. But I should have it all paid by the time the statue releases, so that way I can get it delivered to me as soon as possible. But yeah, awesome statue. This one also does have LEDs on the base. That's probably one of the statues that I'm most excited for. So yeah, that was everything for the third quarter. Now let's move on to the last quarter, which is filled with even more statues. That's going to be the craziest month for me, so let's go check it out. Alright, so in the fourth quarter of 2021, we have 4 Nendoroids, and then the rest of them are all statues. So yeah, my wallet is definitely going to hate me in the fourth quarter of 2021. So let's get straight into it with my 4 Nendoroids. And the first one here is another JoJo's. It's from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And in this case, we are going to be getting Jotaro Kujo from the third part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. And the cool thing about this Nendoroid is that it does come with his hat, and you guys know that Jotaro loves his hat. And my other 2 favorite Nendoroids are from Made in Abyss, and they also come with little hats, and I don't know why, but I really like hats on Nendoroids. I just think it makes them look much better, more cuter, so kind of excited to get that one in and see how he's gonna look with his hat. But apart from his hat, he does have some cool poses here. And I also like the fact that he has his signature. So I'm definitely going to be posing him with those. But yeah, I think that's all there is to say for that Nendoroid. The next one is from Naruto, and it is Sasuke Uchiha. So this is another rerun, and I think this one will pair up really nicely with the Itachi that I have. Even though he isn't an Akatsuki member, he is still Itachi's brother, and you guys know that they have the whole fight and everything. That's also one of my favorite parts of that series. So yeah, it'll be pretty cool to have both of them together. The next Nendoroid is another JoJo's, and this is the one that started it all. It is Jonathan Joestar. So with him, I will have Jonathan, Joseph, Jotaro, and I actually do already have Josuke. I just haven't unboxed him yet, so that's why he's not on this list. So with that, I actually have all of the main JoJo's. There is also Giorno Giovanna, but I still technically don't consider him a JoJo. I still consider him Dio's son, but I know that he was conceived with one of JoJo's bodies, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's a spoiler, so I'll put a spoiler alert before I say all of this. But yeah, I do definitely still want to get him, but if I can't get him, it's not going to be a big issue because I don't really see him as a JoJo, but he is one of the protagonists, so still want him. Although I think he has already gone out of stock. He was already released, so I'm going to have to wait for a re-release for him. So yeah, now I have all of the main JoJo's, and can't wait to have them all in to display them all together. So that is kind of another completed set for me. So I have the Nakano sisters and all of the JoJo's. But alright, moving on. The last Nendoroid is going to be from Demon Slayer, and this is Gyu Tomioka, which is another Hashira. We saw a lot of him in season 1, and he reminds me a lot of Sasuke, which I like Sasuke, so I naturally kind of enjoyed his character as well. He's pretty emo, he doesn't really like talking to people very much, but he's really good at what he does. He's one of the Hashira, so of course he's pretty powerful, and he's pretty similar to Tanjiro because Tanjiro started off with the water style, and he is, I guess he's like the Hashira of the water style. I don't know what they're called, what that's called really. But the Nendoroid looks pretty cool. I like the water effect that he has. I feel like the water effect looks actually a lot better than the water effect that we see in Tanjiro's Nendoroid that you guys can see back here. So it'll be pretty cool to have him and then compare these two figures with each other. So yeah, with him I would have, I think, 2 Hashiras, him and Rengoku, and hopefully they continue to release them because I would really love to see a Mitsuri Nendoroid. I'm gonna pre-order that one as soon as I see it. But yeah, those are all the Nendoroids. Now let's move into the statues. And since we just talked about Giyu, let's kind of transition into one of the statues that I got also for Giyu. And this one is from Gen Studio, and honestly this is also one of my favorite ones that it's going to arrive this year. I really love dragons, and I love how the dragon looks on this particular statue, with a statue kind of standing next to him in the water form. And to top it all off, again, it does include LEDs, so it should make the dragon pop even more, and I think it's gonna look awesome, so I can't wait to get him in. And then sticking with Demon Slayer, I also have, this is my second statue of Mitsuri. So she is the Love Hashira. It's listed here, I didn't mention that last time. But this one, I actually got this one because they are gonna make a line of these figures. This is from CP Studios, and from the image, I'll put it here again for you guys to see, but they're planning to release all of the Hashiras in this kind of statue form, and it is going to create sort of like a panoramic picture of all of them. So once they are all released, I think it's going to be a really good collection of all of the Hashira figures. So they're definitely going to be in their own little shelf displayed, and I think it's going to look pretty cool. So that's why I'm picking that one up specifically, because I don't plan to pick up a specific figure of each Hashira. I'm probably just gonna pick up my a figure of some of my favorite Hashiras. So I do want this just to kind of have them all together. So yeah, next let's move into Hunter x Hunter. So you guys know Hunter x Hunter is my favorite anime of all time and my favorite manga. So as soon as I started to get into collecting figures, I immediately went to go search for Hunter x Hunter figures. But to my surprise, there actually isn't much Hunter x Hunter figures out there, and the ones that are out there, they don't necessarily look the highest quality, so I haven't really picked any up. But then one day, a couple of months ago or a few months ago, they finally released one that I actually thought looked pretty good, and it is a 1/6 scale Gon Freaks statue from Jumper Studios. Now I think these are kind of a newer studio because I don't see them producing too many figures, but from what I've seen here, and you guys can see the same images, I think it looks pretty good, and it sounds like they're gonna, and it looks like they're gonna be releasing more, so I can't wait what other figures they release. But for now we have this Gon in his adult form, which if you haven't seen the anime, this is another sort of spoiler, but this is kind of when he goes up against Pito, and the only thing that I don't really see too much from the figures is I don't see Pito's face or anything. I think there is a body. Let me double check. All right, so yeah, there is a body of her, but I would have liked it if you could also see her face, which you can't really see it. So that's the only kind of nitpick that I have with this one. It also doesn't have any LEDs, but regardless of it not having LEDs, I still think it looked good enough for me to pick up. So you guys know I love Hunter x Hunter, so as soon as I saw something at least of a good enough quality for me to pick up, I was gonna pick it up, and this happened to be it. So hopefully they release more statues. I'm really hoping that they do a good Kuroyo Lucifer statue, because I feel like they have a few, but I don't know why they just can't get his face right in any of them. So hopefully in the future they make one and they do his character justice, because he's one of my favorite ones. And then of course there was also actually a Hisoka versus Gon figure, but that one is out of stock already and I can't find it anywhere for a decent price. So until I can, I probably won't be picking that one up. But I really wish I was collecting earlier just to pick that one up, because that one does also capture a really good scene in the anime where Hisoka and Gon fight in Heaven's Arena. So that's kind of like a grail piece for me. Maybe at one point I will get it. And then another grail piece is the Meruem versus Neturo statue by Figurama. So it is licensed, so that means that it's super expensive. And then now that it's sold out and it's in the secondary market, it's even more expensive. So don't think I'll be getting that one, but I wish I had. All right, and then finally, the last set of statues that is gonna arrive in the fourth quarter are all Naruto, and I think there's 4 of them. And the first one, I think this was one of the first statues that I pre-ordered when I started to get into statues, and it is the 1/7 scale Growth of Naruto by Crescent Studios. And this statue here, it basically captures all of the different forms of Naruto from when he was a child all the way to when he grows up in Shippuden, then when he learns Sage mode, then we see him in 6-path Sage mode, and then finally when he becomes the Hokage. So and then to top it all off, in the center of the statue we have his signature Rasengan. So yeah, I had to pick this one up, and I think it's really the only Naruto statue that I'll need, because it has all of his forms all in one. And I think it's gonna look awesome, just kind of displayed in the center of one shelf. So that'll definitely be taking up one shelf, and I think it's gonna look awesome. So can't wait to get that one in. Now moving on, another great Naruto statue that I'm gonna be getting is an Uchiha Madara Susanoo from Top Studios. So this is gonna be my first bigger scale Susanoo statue with my favorite villain from the Naruto series, Madara. I know a lot of people don't tend to like what they kind of did with him at the end. Me neither. I kind of wish that he would have been the main final villain, but the time that he was on the screen, he was definitely what I think is the strongest opponents that they had ever faced, and I just love Madara, so I'm glad that he's the first Susanoo statue that I'm getting. The only thing that I am kind of disappointed with this one is that I don't think it has any LEDs. Let me just quickly double check. Yeah, I don't see that it has any LEDs. So yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of get creative and use my own lighting to light that statue up, because definitely with lighting, I think they pop out a lot more. All right, and then the next Naruto statue that I have on pre-order is an Obito Uchiha statue. And I knew I wanted to get an Obito statue because he was actually one of my favorite Akatsuki members. When he was Toby, actually, I really loved him as Toby. I thought his Kamui ability was really awesome. And for a moment, I almost did think that he was Madara. I don't know if any of you guys thought that as well when watching the anime, but yeah, he was just one of my favorite characters, and I actually named my dog after him. My dog's name is also Toby. But yeah, this figure definitely got my attention because of the Kamui. I think the Kamui in the background looks really awesome, and it kind of just, I don't know if, from the figures here, I don't know if those figures will actually be in the final figure, but if they are, that's going to be awesome, because that was kind of the moment that caused Obito to go down the wrong path and become a villain himself. So yeah, hopefully they do, but from these images, I don't know that they will. I'm not too sure. So we'll see. Even if they don't, I think it still looks pretty cool, and it does have LEDs in the background with the Kamui. So we'll see how it turns out. So yeah, still looks cool. But honestly, I think I'm gonna actually display him with his mask. I always preferred him with the mask on before we found out that he was Obito. So that's probably gonna be the way that I'm gonna be displaying him. All right, and then finally, the last statue that I have on pre-order. And this was another one that was pretty pricey. And this one, I was a little bit hesitant on picking it up because of the price, because this one actually isn't a licensed figure. However, once you guys see it, I'll kind of put it on the screen now. It definitely looks awesome, and I can see why they put that price point on it. But I think initially the price point was so high because it was going to be such a limited release. I believe there was only going to be 88 pieces made, but because of the high demand, they actually ended up increasing that number, but they didn't decrease the price. But regardless of the price, as soon as I saw this statue, I fell in love with it. I love this moment in the series, and I think it would have probably even been better if they included Sasuke in here as well. However, maybe it would have been a little bit too crowded with 3 characters in one statue. I've never really seen that done with statues. Usually it's either 1 or 2 characters, but nonetheless, looks awesome. I love the Susanoo hands, Itachi Susanoo, kind of coming out like that, and I really love the details from all of the snakes, and the fact that Kabuto comes out of that snake head, which looks a lot like Orochimaru's snake head. So that looks pretty cool. So can't wait to see that one in person. The pictures look awesome, so I just hope that when I get it in person, it looks just as good as it does in the pictures. But alright guys, that's all of my pre-orders. This video ended up being pretty long, so I'm gonna have to edit it and try to cut the time down a little bit, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you guys got a glimpse into some of the future unboxings that I'll be doing in this channel. And as I've said earlier, I can't wait to unbox one of these statues for you. Going forward, I think I am going to be picking up a lot more of them, so expect to see more of those types of unboxings, I guess starting more from 2022 and on. But alright, thanks for watching you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will leave a link down below to all of the figures in case you guys are interested in checking them out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.